so 1.3. No doubt that'll start a massive debate. It coming out of the boot there. There's the whiskers. Does anyone know anything that we could brighten up these panels with? This is plastic. I don't know whether the teacup's going to work, but there must be something we can put on it. Got a leak in the toilets of the offices, so I'm just looking for some tools now. I think I need some PTFE tape, flat blade screwdriver. That was easy enough to turn the water off, and then got to unbolt it, cut the plastic back, and then hopefully it'll still fit. Looks like the plastic's fractured where it goes in. This is the problem. My mum put something underneath it yesterday. That plastic's leaking there, so I'm going to turn it off with that valve. See if I can fix it. Not sure if you can see, but it's fractured on the thread there, right in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to try and cut the bottom off. Got a hacksaw blade. Right, I've put some PTFE tape, cut the bottom off. Hopefully that'll work now. That's what was cut off. No. Don't. Got it out. It's plastic. The new ones now that are screw fixed are going to stock a brass at the bottom. It's probably better because where it had tightened up, not that nut, the other nut, it had pulled the thread away from the plastic. So I'll go and get a new one now, £7.49 or something. I've just come to have a look at the summer barley. Some of it here is actually shot. You can see it coming out of the boot there. There's the whiskers. It's not had any fertiliser whatsoever. Probably should have given it some, to be fair. But we've just been so busy with other jobs when it's been dry, and it's been a bit wet as well for coming on. Bit of ryegrass at that end. You can see the darker patches there and near that other gateway, where if we did put fertiliser on, the ryegrass would have got hold of it. It does look pretty hungry, but you know, if anything, it's a cover crop. Very clean though, no disease in it. So who knows when we'll harvest it? Anyone want to have a guess of what date it might be? The harvest. Yeah, I'm just coming back from Screwfix, so I thought I'd call in because it's past the field. I'm going to go the other side of the road now and have a look if that OSR's coming up as well. That's a good sign. We've got some in rows. See it there. No sign of slug damage either, which I'm very surprised at. Or maybe that one could have been checked slightly. Because this hasn't had any slug pellets yet. And I was thinking that we probably should have been putting some on today. But with the wet weather, it would have dissolved pretty quick. A little bit slow there with the wheeling spin of the drill. But they are still there in rows. It's incredible really to think we've sown 2 kilos a hectare. Now this was sown with our drill, this wasn't sown with the drone. But we've got some plants. When you stand back and look at the field though, you can't see anything at all because they're so tiny. They're actually smaller than cress, but no, looking good. Pleased with that, to be honest. Sometimes the seed can lie there in sort of dry soil and take ages to germinate and ages to come up. Well, this is, it's only been sown a week, if that. What day was it now? Was it Monday it was drilled? It's Monday today, isn't it now? Yeah. So there we go. Fingers crossed it keeps growing and the slugs don't eat it. Got this now, brass, hopefully it won't shear off like the last one did. Got some PTFE tape, 2 rolls because that walks, so do tape measures, 2 of them, they were on special offer. Let's put them in the workshop and see how long it is before they go missing. So we're going to put a roll of PTFE tape with the air fittings, because that, they often need them. I'm going to put these in the top of my toolbox, PTFE in it as well, and we'll see. Obviously Andrew's new wheelie thing, guess how much that is. He sits on it when he's polishing his car. You'd be amazed at the cost. So they can go in here, PTFE tape in the corner, there. Oh, it's not going to shut. I need to tidy this out. Let's see how long they last. There we go, nicely fixed. Andrew's cleaned his car for the 500th time this month. Just looking in the workshop whether if we fix a 1690 we could get a tractor puller in there. We'd have to tidy it up quite a bit, won't we? Andrew wanted to buy a tractor puller, but he spent all his money on that snap-on thing. Got the harness on. Gonna go doing something really extreme. Looking if there's any owl chicks in the owl box, because I keep seeing a barn owl at night and it's flying round the back down there. I don't know where it's going, but there is an owl box down on the back of the shed, so I'm going to see if it's going into it. Going up. Looks like the steps fell off it. Had a little step in the middle of it. Two in there anyway. That's good. Go back down now. Save disturbing them anymore. Looked a bit confused. To be fair though, they didn't actually see me. I just lifted my arm up with my phone, so they just saw my phone, so they probably wouldn't have got scared anyway. They just thought it was some vehicle. My uncle will be chuffed. He made that box about 3 years ago, so no, nothing was in it. I think there's some kestrels tried going in it, but nothing's been in it for a while, but obviously they're in it now. One of these, I think, it looked really good with one of them big race car engines in that some of them had in yesterday. 2,000 horsepower ones. You can just drill like 6 or 8 holes in the bonnet for the exhaust coming out either side. But how you'd get it through a Vario transmission, I do not know. Would a Vario transmission take 2,000 horsepower? Probably not. I'd probably rip it to bits. While I'm talking about tractor pulling, I'm going to put a link below this video of Guy Martin driving Snoopy 4. So it's Snoopy 3 is 6,000 horsepower, Snoopy 4 is 4,000 horsepower. And 2 or 3 years ago, Guy Martin went to Great Eccleston, did a full pull in it. So the video link is below this video. So go and watch it. Tell him I sent you as well, because he's a legend, Guy. But yeah, go and check that out. Well, after you've watched the rest of this video, just looking underneath the combine at something ready for another project that's coming up. Anyway, I'm going to show you this up here. That's the disc brakes. So these have got extra guarding on, I think, to the older ones. Stops the dust going into these discs here, getting warm on the road and smouldering and melting cables and wires. It's still got a little bit of dust that I'm going to blow off it anyway, which should help things a bit. After all the motorsport this weekend, I did think about taking the Yaris on the field and having a play, but I didn't want to do what happened to Whistling Diesel the other day, where it went on fire and it's a bit wet and muddy to go on without making a mess. But someone said, you haven't showed anyone your rally car for ages, so we'll go and have a look. It's somewhere in this old garage. There's a spare shell for it with a non-sunroof, Peugeot 205, and this is it. Some of its wheels here, they're quite a soft compound for tarmac. It's got some like mud and snow wheels on it. The actual garage, oh, grapes. The actual garage doors fell off, and it's going to take some getting out because there's quite a lot of stuff to the side. But yeah, it's a 1.3 Peugeot 205 XS. There's a spare engine and gearbox as well. Spare exhaust. Stuck to the things. Falling over here. Yeah, that's it really. I can't remember the last time it was driven. So me and Steve and my friend built it. Well, Stephen did a lot of it really. He was in the RAF, so he had more time off at weekends and stuff. He did all the wiring. It's got plumbed in fire extinguisher, obviously bucket seats, harness. 5-speed gearbox roll cage that we welded in ourselves. We had to put a new sill on it because we hit a tree stump on the first rally at Charlotte Richard between Christmas and New Year, what was called the Northwest Stages. Sorry, no it wasn't, the Northwest Stages was the next rally we did. Various different spare parts in here, another gearbox, another clutch. Don't know what that's the gearbox out of. One of maybe Stephen's projects, but yeah, it's a, we call it a barn find now. It's not lost, I know it's here, but people seem to like barn finds. And then there's the spare shell, which is a 205 1.6 GTI. We actually took the front brakes off it to put on this, and then I had a 1.9 GTI that I took the rear axle off to put the rear brakes on it. Unfortunately, the 1.9 fell off the pallet forks after we removed the axle, and it stuffed all the front in, so I scrapped it. But they're now worth a fortune, 1.9 Peugeot 205s. But yeah, there you go. There's two barn finds. I'll go outside and show you why I can't get them out very easily. There's a spare tailgate. No way, that's the sign from when I bought 44.87 acres in 2012. Anyone guess what that is? There's a quiz question for you. Oh, there's some of the number plates I've had over the years. Yeah, there's a quiz question. What's that for? Yeah, it's in this old garage here. It used to be a greenhouse. This is one of Ian's project cars. This is his track car, which is a Ford Puma that he basically cut. Is it open? He cut everything out of it to make it lighter. It's carbon fibre door pan, bucket seats. So this is what he used to take to track days. So it has got a roll cage in it, but it was just built for playing, really. Yeah, this is the workshop it's in, garage, whatever you want to call it. But the door is that white is the garage door. So you'd have to move all this, and then it's quite lower, so you'd have to get the digger and level the ramp to try and get them out. But I haven't got anywhere else to put it, so it's just going to live in there for now. At least it's dry as well in there. Anyway, I'm going to quickly do the birthdays. Not actually that many today, I think there's only 4. So I'll go and do them now. Come round to the buggy to write them on, but there's no point. It's dead easy. It's Jason Scott. I did actually start writing them on there. I thought there's no point. Jason Scott is 36, Scott Bradley is 34, and Siobhan Farrell is 40, big 4-0. Life begins at 40 anyway. Well, I thought it did. So happy birthday to everyone on there. And the birthday bumper is fastly approaching 45,000 as well, which is amazing. Someone commented the other day about that only having one strap on it. They obviously didn't see the chain on it as well, chaining it down. I probably would have put the chain on the back and the strap on the front, or 2 chains, but anyway, never mind, it's still adequately secured. No doubt that'll start a massive debate now of all the experts that'll tell you exactly how to chain a tractor on, to be honest. That's just been filling the dryer. There's not a lot of wheat left to go through it, and then hopefully then we can start cutting some beans. He's probably going to leave that there now in the dust so that it gets dusty over the next few hours while that patch goes through. The wheat shed is nicely filling up. We pushed it up quite high so we can still get some stuff in the front. Still a bit more to come in. Would have been nice to be full to the door. We can actually put a concrete panel across the door like we do in the OSR shed to get it a bit fuller. If we'd have had good yields, we would have filled it, but we haven't. So in fact, I've got this ladder, you'll see. Yeah, don't know what's in here. Approaching 1,500 tonne maybe. We can fit about 2,000 in here. These are handy little things. These are for blowing off the back of trucks when they tip, or the trailers, so that when they go outside, anything that's stuck on the number plate, the lights, doesn't fall all over the yard. This OSR stubble behind the yard, Andrew straw raked it again the other day. You can see the diagonal lines in it. We put the straw down, we had to turn it a few times before we could bale it. So there's still a little bit left on the floor, but let's see if there's any slugs we can find. Well, that's a good sign. Can't see any, to be honest. We'll maybe give it another rake. But another week or so, we'll be drilling this with wheat. So I don't want any slugs eating the wheat. Hopefully they'll graze off the I can't even speak. Hopefully they'll graze off the volunteer OSR until the wheat gets away. Then we'll sow it, leave it a few days, glyphosate it off. They'll carry on eating the OSR, wheat will come through, job done, fill the wheat, then drilled. Oh, these pieces of wood in here for. You've had the pieces of wood in the field for something, but I'm going to show you this. So this is the concrete wagon we bought the other week. I've decided that I don't think we're going to have time to mount it on a chassis. I think it's going to be like the other projects I've got in the other field. I've got 2 trailers I bought to turn into straw trailers, and we've just not had the time to do it, and they're just sat there and have been for a long time. So if anyone is interested in this, you can have it for what I paid for it, really. I think it's an 8 cube concrete mixer. We believe it works. We obviously haven't tried it since it's off the truck, but if someone's got an old trailer or the time to make a chassis, make me an offer on it. We do have that small pan mixer, you see, so I know that'll obviously make bigger batches, but I just think it's going to sit there and deteriorate and never get used, so I may as well move it on if someone's got the appetite for doing it. This is another project unfinished that we've got to get through, finishing off this building. So again, this will take more priority than the concrete wagon as well. Also, now it's got the roof on, we can do this in the wet weather, just like you would do with the other workshop jobs. So we've got a winter project in here. We've also got the new farm, loads of work to be done up there as well. Brook House, I've got planning permission to do some, it's coming off the weighbridge. Got some planning permission there to convert some of the barns into offices. Need to really get on with that. So again, that's sort of like dry weather infill work, because we might have to do something with the roofs, change the roof and stuff. And then some of that will be inside work. And I'll go and show you in the field the other projects I think I bought 3 or 4 years ago. We've not even started yet. Yeah, I bought these 2 trailers, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago with the idea of taking the top off and making them into bale trailers. Just never got round to it. People have wanted to buy them off me, but they're actually full of cover crop seed because they've been quite handy to put seed in. But maybe tomorrow we'll drag them out, get what seed we need out of them, put them back in, because they've been handy for a bit of dry storage, because shed space is always at a bit of a premium. But yeah, I've never got round to doing them. Yeah, you could mount the concrete mixer maybe on one of them, but I think because the wheels are quite in the middle, it'd be a bit unwieldy. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to get time. So if anyone wants a concrete truck, let me know. Don't forget though, you'd have to have a bucket with a spout on to load it, or some sort of conveyor if you're going to do some concreting, because you've obviously got to get the stuff in the top of it. It's not too difficult, you just put a chute in the middle of a bucket. But yeah, I don't think we've got the time. Seemed a good idea at the time, but time is of the essence to do other projects. That's about all for today anyway. Great to see the barn owls in that box there ish, and we'll get hold of the guy that comes and rings them, and then we can keep a track of them maybe. But thanks for watching, Dave. If you made it this far, click like. Bit of a random video, not really much work going on today, but thanks for watching nonetheless, and I'll see you tomorrow.